everyone, this is Big Clingy and welcome to my newest project. This is a playthrough of Age of Empires 2: The Age of Kings. More specifically, the HD edition recently released on Steam. I'm sorry, it would have been criminal to talk over that awesome music. But anyway, probably not recently released, I can't quite remember how long ago it was. But anyway, thing is, this is a game that I had actually planned to do for a long time, even before I knew about the HD release, and in fact, before it was even announced. Age of Empires 2 is a game that has a very important place in my heart. You see, this, alongside Pokemon Red, were possibly the first real games that I ever played in my entire life. This game was a huge part of my childhood. In fact, in terms of my gaming history, the non-Pokemon part, this basically was my childhood. This game right here. Age of Empires 2: The Age of Kings is a real-time strategy game, and it's probably what caused me to get so much into strategy games later on. Now, I will admit that I'm not entirely the fastest real-time strategy player, but I guess I'll get by. Just bear with me, because I will say, though, that I really do, if it wasn't obvious by my massive gushing, I really do love this game. This game has played a huge role in, like, my gaming history, really. Again, it's the first, probably, real game that I ever actually played, and, like, I was less than 10 years old at the time, so yeah, I probably fumbled through a few things, and, yeah, but anyway, this game, just to give you a bit of history, is, again, a real-time strategy game that was always released on PCs. I always felt that real-time strategy games are really best on PC. In fact, they're pretty much the only games I actually play on PC. So, yeah. It, of course, as you can probably tell, is the second game in the series, but in this case, the first game wasn't really that widely popular. This one, the second game, was where the series really hit its stride, and oh man, am I so sad that this series is basically dead now. I really wish this could have gone further. Like, okay, there was an Age of Empires 3, which, unlike a lot of people, I actually really liked, but this one, yeah, this is the game that really sticks out to most people. There are so many people, pretty much, if you're a fan of real-time strategy, chances are you have heard of this game. This game was extremely prolific in the genre, and I think it's still aged pretty well to this day. So I'd highly recommend that anyone interested in strategy games or real-time strategy, go and pick this up. Not only that, but as you can probably very obviously tell, this game is based on medieval history. It's one of the, at this point, you know, RTS games nowadays are mostly, well, there are a lot of sci-fi ones. Most of them tend to be either sci-fi or World War based. This one here is based off actual real medieval history, and believe me, they really did their research. You can really tell they did. In fact, there's an entire history section right here, and if you click this, oh, I love the civilization riffs in this game. But anyway, you can see detailed historical information on every single playable civilization. Just look at this. You can learn so much history just by playing this game. In fact, I'd probably go so far as to recommend this game as a teaching resource if you're trying to teach anyone full history. It's actually that good. Even by simply playing, you can learn an awful lot. All of the campaigns, like, as in the main single-player story modes of this game, are all based on real historical events. Even the tutorial. And that's what I'm going to be covering shortly. So, I hope you'll stay tuned for that. This is going to be an interesting ride, but I hope it's one you will enjoy. So, here's to Age of Empires 2. Here we go. Actually, I just realized I have a few more things I need to get out of the way before I talk about this stuff. Now, if you click the single-player shield here, you'll notice that you have the options of rather than just standard game, you also have Age of Kings campaigns and the Conquerors campaigns. Now, this is just a little bit of background on the HD edition and the original game. Now, the original game, Age of Kings, is the base Age of Empires 2 game. Like many PC real-time strategy games, this had a base game, and then it had an expansion pack that was released later. The expansion is The Conquerors, which added several new civilizations, a whole new set of story campaigns, and just basically added a whole lot of gameplay rebalances that made things, well, a lot better. Fixed a lot of problems with extremely derpy unit AI in the original, but, well, we'll get into that later, trust me. Now, the HD edition contains both the original and the Conquerors expansion content all in the one package, and it's actually incredibly good value for what it is. You're basically getting 2 games for the price of 1 there, considering how long the Conquerors campaigns go on for. So, really, I totally recommend, getting the HD edition if you can, if only for the fact that it's one of the only ways you can still play this game nowadays. Now, the funny thing is, I said that I'd been planning to do this game since before the HD edition was announced. Thing is, I still own the original CD-ROM version of this game, believe it or not, and if this hadn't been released, I probably would have recorded off of that. Now, the thing is, I'm glad this was released, but mainly for this reason. The original CD-ROM version has a few weird graphical glitches that are caused by, weirdly enough, the graphics being too good for... The graphics of my laptop being too good for the old game to handle. So, that is a bit weird. So, like, water looks all very, very weird and rainbowy and pixelated. It's kind of surreal, but... Anyway, so this game, the main reason I actually got the HD edition is just so that I have it looking normal. But, there's one other interesting thing, well, other than the fact that the HD edition, as you can see if you click Map Editor, does incorporate a few Steam features. Now, the funny thing is, yes, I downloaded this game through Steam. I'm probably going to get a whole bunch of people wanting to add me on Steam for doing this. Thing is, I'm actually not a big fan of Steam at all. I really only use it because I need it to get some games, that's really all. And because a few PC games that I play actually require me to have it. So, I'm not really that big within the Steam community, I don't really use any of their features. I'm really just here to play this game, and I probably can't tell you very much about the Steam features here, so just bear that in mind. What I will mention, though, about the HD edition is, you might notice this thing here, this thing that says, Play the Forgotten. You probably saw that in the title screen as well. Now, if I click on this, the banner here switches to, and the music abruptly cuts off, the banner here switches to Age of Empires 2 The Forgotten HD Edition. And if I check single player, I only have an option for the Forgotten campaigns. This is a completely new expansion pack. Actually, not really. Now, I decided to buy this too because I managed to get a bargain on both this and The Forgotten. The Forgotten is, to all intents and purposes, an expansion pack to what is essentially a 15-year-old game. Yeah. But the thing is, The Forgotten has an interesting history. It originally started out as a fan-made expansion, and it got made official, so that's a pretty high honor to the people who were making the fan expansion, so yeah, they got officially recognized and it became an officially licensed expansion. It contains a few new civilizations, new campaigns, and a bunch of other stuff. Thing is, I haven't even played much of this, and I'm not really going to be actually covering very much of this at all. This playthrough is solely going to be the regular Age of Kings and the Conquerors expansion. I might cover the Forgotten later, but not at the moment. So just bear that in mind. This is strictly original Age of Empires 2 territory only. I'm going to sound like a massive nostalgia bastard guy for saying that, but yeah, again, mostly because I don't actually have that much experience with the Forgotten at this point, so that's, yeah, pretty much why. So, without further ado, now we'll really end this off, and I will see you next time when we begin the tutorial campaign.